What if the real secret to rebuilding muscle after 60 was not protein powder, not magnesium, but two forgotten vitamins working quietly at night inside your mitochondria, inside your muscle fibers, repairing what age and time try to wear down? For years, magnesium has been celebrated as the mineral of recovery. It is true it helps relax the muscles, improves sleep, and supports hundreds of enzymatic reactions. But for people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, magnesium alone often stops short of solving the real problem. The issue is not simply muscle tension, it is muscle regeneration. The ability of your body to synthesize new muscle proteins, repair microtears, and maintain strong, insulin-sensitive muscle tissue starts to slow down dramatically with age. And here is where the story gets interesting. Research over the past decade has revealed that two specific vitamins often overlooked, often overshadowed, play a far more direct role in rebuilding and preserving muscle than most people realize. They do not just support muscle recovery. They activate the cellular machinery that drives muscle repair, mitochondrial function, and anabolic signaling overnight. If you are over 60, this matters deeply, because muscle is not just about strength, it is about survival. Skeletal muscle acts as a metabolic engine. It stores glucose, regulates blood sugar, protects against frailty, and communicates with your brain through powerful signaling molecules called myokines. Losing muscle mass even slightly increases the risk of falls, metabolic disease, and accelerated aging. But the exciting truth is this: your body is still capable of rebuilding strong, resilient muscle at any age if it has the right biochemical tools. Here is what is happening at the cellular level. As we age, mitochondria, the tiny power plants in our cells, begin to lose efficiency. They produce less adenosine triphosphate, which is the energy currency that drives muscle repair. The signaling pathways that tell your body to build new protein, such as the mTOR pathway, also become less responsive. And inflammation from oxidative stress quietly erodes your muscle's capacity to recover. But studies are now showing that certain vitamins can actually reawaken these pathways. They enhance mitochondrial biogenesis, reduce muscle inflammation, and restore the sensitivity of anabolic signals that magnesium alone cannot reach. In this episode, we are going to unpack exactly how these two vitamins work, how they help rebuild muscle tissue overnight, how they interact with magnesium, and how you can strategically use them to strengthen your body, improve energy, and extend your health span well into your later years. We will also explore 6 science-backed insights, from the cellular mechanisms behind these vitamins to the best food sources, timing, and combinations that make them work synergistically with your existing habits. By the end, you will understand not just what to take, but why it works at the level of your mitochondria, your hormones, and your muscle fibers themselves. Let us start with the big picture. After the age of 60, muscle does not just weaken, it changes at the cellular level. The decline we often call age-related muscle loss is not simply about less exercise or lower protein intake. It is about deep shifts in how your cells make energy, repair tissue, and respond to anabolic signals. Imagine your muscle fibers as factories. When you are young, those factories are running on full power. They burn fuel efficiently, clear waste quickly, and respond immediately when you give them a signal to build more protein. But as you move through your 60s, those factories begin to lose power. The machines, your mitochondria, start to wear down. They produce less adenosine triphosphate, the molecule that fuels every contraction, every repair process, every bit of recovery. At the same time, your body's sensitivity to anabolic hormones such as testosterone, insulin, and growth hormone begins to fade. Even if your hormone levels are still within normal range, your muscle cells stop listening as effectively. Scientists call this anabolic resistance. It means that after a workout, your body's ability to convert dietary protein into new muscle is significantly reduced compared to when you were in your 20s or 30s. Magnesium plays a role here, but only part of it. It supports enzymatic activity and energy production and helps muscles relax after contraction. It can improve sleep, which indirectly aids recovery. But magnesium does not switch on the machinery of muscle protein synthesis. It does not tell your genes to start making new muscle fibers. It is like oiling the gears of a machine that still lacks the power to run at full speed. Here is what research is showing. The deeper issue is not magnesium deficiency, it is mitochondrial inefficiency. When your mitochondria slow down, your entire muscle repair system slows with it. Energy demand outpaces supply, and oxidative stress builds up, damaging muscle proteins faster than they can be replaced. This imbalance creates the perfect storm for sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle mass and function with age. And this is where the two vitamins we are about to discuss come in. They do not just support muscle, they activate muscle repair at the genetic and mitochondrial level. They influence calcium signaling inside the muscle cell, enhance mitochondrial biogenesis, and reduce chronic low-grade inflammation that blocks recovery. Let me put it simply, magnesium keeps the lights on. These two vitamins rebuild the power grid. If you have ever noticed that your recovery takes longer now that soreness lingers, that your muscles feel weaker even when you stay active, it is not a sign that your workouts are not working. It is a sign that your cells need deeper biochemical support. In the next section, we will explore the first of these vitamins, vitamin D, and uncover how it functions not just as a vitamin, but as a hormone that tells your muscle cells to grow, repair, and energize themselves overnight. If you are enjoying this breakdown, consider subscribing. I post weekly deep dives into longevity science and cellular health. When most people think about vitamin D, they think about bones. They think about calcium absorption, sunlight, and maybe immune support. But few realize that vitamin D is actually a hormone precursor, a signaling molecule that talks directly to your genes, especially in your muscle cells. And after the age of 60, this signaling becomes one of the most powerful tools your body has for maintaining strength, coordination, and resilience. Here is what is happening at the cellular level. Every muscle cell in your body contains a vitamin D receptor. When vitamin D binds to that receptor, it literally turns on and off specific genes responsible for muscle protein synthesis, mitochondrial function, and calcium handling. In other words, vitamin D tells your muscle cells when to grow, when to repair, and how to use energy efficiently. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism has shown that people with higher vitamin D levels have greater muscle fiber size and strength, particularly in the fast-twitch fibers that are responsible for power and balance. These are the same fibers that decline fastest as we age, the ones that help you climb stairs, prevent falls, and react quickly when you lose balance. Let me break this down with a simple example. Imagine your muscle fibers as engines. Calcium is the spark that ignites each contraction, and adenosine triphosphate is the fuel that drives it. Vitamin D ensures that both are functioning at full capacity. It helps regulate calcium flow in and out of muscle cells, preventing the sluggish contractions and fatigue that many older adults experience. But that is not all. Vitamin D also talks to your mitochondria, the energy producers inside every muscle cell. It increases mitochondrial biogenesis, meaning it helps your body make new mitochondria, and it enhances the function of the ones you already have, improving their ability to generate clean, efficient energy. In aging research, this is one of the holy grails because healthy mitochondria means stronger muscles, better metabolism, and slower biological aging. The challenge is that most people over 60 are significantly deficient. Your skin becomes less efficient at converting sunlight into vitamin D, and modern indoor lifestyles make it worse. Low vitamin D is now linked not only to weaker muscles, but also to higher rates of falls, slower recovery after exercise, and even reduced muscle stem cell activity, the cells that rebuild damaged muscle fibers. So, what can you do? First, aim to get your vitamin D levels tested, ideally, your 25-hydroxy vitamin D blood level. Optimal levels for muscle health appear to be around 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter, depending on your physiology. Second, while sunlight remains the best natural source, it is not always sufficient. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel are rich dietary sources. Egg yolks and fortified dairy can help too. However, most people over 60 benefit from a high-quality vitamin D3 supplement, ideally paired with vitamin K2, which we will explore in the next section. Timing also matters. Because vitamin D is fat-soluble, taking it with your largest meal of the day that contains healthy fats such as avocado, olive oil, or nuts can significantly improve absorption. Here is what the research suggests, and here is why it matters. Restoring vitamin D does not just prevent deficiency symptoms, it reactivates your muscle's ability to rebuild itself overnight. It amplifies protein synthesis, strengthens mitochondrial efficiency, and lowers inflammation that otherwise slows repair. Magnesium plays a supporting role here because it helps convert vitamin D into its active form. But the true anabolic signal, the command that tells your body, rebuild muscle now, comes from vitamin D itself. If this explanation resonates with you, go ahead and tap the subscribe button and share your thoughts in the comments. In the next section, we are going to explore the missing partner in this equation, vitamin K2, because without it, vitamin D's full muscle-building potential cannot be realized. If vitamin D is the master switch that turns on muscle-building genes, then vitamin K2 is the electrician that makes sure the current flows to the right places. These two vitamins are biochemical partners. When they work together, they activate a cascade of cellular processes that go far beyond bone health, influencing muscle strength, mitochondrial function, and even cardiovascular resilience. Let us break this down at the cellular level. One of the main functions of vitamin K2 is to activate proteins that control calcium distribution in the body. The most important of these are osteocalcin and matrix Gley protein. Osteocalcin helps bind calcium into bones, while matrix Gley protein prevents calcium from being deposited in soft tissues like arteries or muscles. When vitamin K2 is lacking, calcium begins to accumulate where it should not, creating stiffness in blood vessels and even within muscle fibers themselves. Here is why this matters for muscle regeneration. Proper calcium flow inside muscle cells is crucial for contraction, relaxation, and repair. When calcium signaling becomes disrupted, your muscle fibers cannot respond efficiently. They fatigue more quickly, recover more slowly, and become more prone to micro damage. Vitamin K2 ensures that calcium remains dynamic and available for real-time muscle function, not locked up in the wrong tissues. Now, when vitamin D levels rise, the body starts producing more of those calcium-handling proteins, but they remain inactive until vitamin K2 comes in to switch them on. Without K2, vitamin D can actually create an imbalance by mobilizing calcium without directing it properly. That is why studies show the combination of D and K2 leads to stronger muscles, denser bones, and healthier arteries, while vitamin D alone sometimes falls short. A fascinating study in older adults published in the Journal of Nutrition and Metabolism found that individuals with higher vitamin K2 intake had significantly better muscle function, faster walking speed, and reduced frailty risk compared to those with lower intake. The reason is clear. By optimizing calcium metabolism and mitochondrial performance, vitamin K2 keeps muscle tissue flexible, oxygenated, and metabolically active. Let me give you a real-world analogy. Think of your muscle fibers as a symphony. Vitamin D is the conductor, setting the tempo and giving the command to play. But without vitamin K2, half the instruments are out of tune, and the result is chaos. K2 brings harmony, ensuring calcium rhythms and energy production align perfectly to create strength, coordination, and endurance. Food sources of vitamin K2 are somewhat rare in modern diets. The richest source is natto, a traditional Japanese fermented soybean food. Hard cheeses, egg yolks, grass-fed butter, and liver also provide moderate amounts. If these are not part of your diet, supplementation can be highly effective. Look specifically for menaquinone 7 or MK7, which stays active in the bloodstream longer than other forms. Pairing vitamin D3 and K2 together provides a synergistic effect, enhancing muscle repair while protecting cardiovascular health. Taken in the evening with a meal containing healthy fats, this combination can work through the night, supporting recovery, improving mitochondrial signaling, and priming your muscles for the next day. If you are finding this helpful, tap the subscribe button and share your thoughts in the comments. In the next section, we are going to translate this science into real-world application. We will talk about how to get these vitamins naturally through food, how to combine them for maximum effect, and the small dietary shifts that can dramatically change how your body rebuilds muscle overnight. Now that we understand how vitamins D and K2 work together at the cellular level, let us bring this knowledge to the dinner table, because food is still the most powerful delivery system for longevity nutrients. Supplements can fill gaps, but the foundation of nutrient synergy begins with what you eat. Here's what the research suggests, and here is why it matters. The absorption and activation of both vitamins D and K2 depend heavily on dietary fats, gut health, and nutrient pairing. These vitamins are fat-soluble, which means they require healthy fats to be transported through the intestinal wall and into the bloodstream. Without that, a large portion of what you consume simply passes through unused. Let me break this down with a simple example. Imagine your vitamins as passengers trying to board a ship. The ship in this case is dietary fat. Without it, the vitamins are left stranded at the dock. So if you take vitamin D or K2 with a meal of low-fat salad or dry toast, absorption will be minimal. But when you pair them with foods like salmon, avocado, olive oil, nuts, or eggs, absorption can more than double. For vitamin D, the richest natural sources are oily fish such as salmon, sardines, trout, and mackerel. Cod liver oil is also an excellent source, though it should be used cautiously to avoid excess vitamin A. Egg yolks and fortified dairy products add to your intake, and mushrooms exposed to ultraviolet light provide a plant-based option. For vitamin K2, the story is a bit different. Modern diets have largely lost their natural sources due to the decline in fermented foods and pasture-raised animal products. The top source by far is natto, a traditional Japanese fermented soybean dish. It may have an acquired taste, but even small servings a few times a week can dramatically raise K2 levels. Hard cheeses such as Gouda or Edam, grass-fed butter, egg yolks, and chicken liver also contain meaningful amounts. But here is where the synergy becomes powerful. When vitamin D and K2 are consumed together in a meal that includes healthy fats, they work in concert. Vitamin D increases calcium absorption and muscle signaling, while vitamin K2 ensures that calcium is directed into bones and muscle tissue rather than arteries or soft tissue. This balanced flow of calcium is essential for optimal muscle contraction, repair, and mitochondrial activity. If we step back and look at this through the lens of longevity, these nutrients also protect the muscle's vascular system. Healthy arteries mean better oxygen delivery to muscle fibers, faster recovery, and greater endurance during exercise, even light resistance training or walking. A practical plate for muscle renewal might look like this: grilled salmon cooked in olive oil, a serving of sautéed spinach, and a small portion of fermented vegetables or cheese. The healthy fats improve vitamin absorption, the proteins provide the building blocks for repair, and the micronutrients activate the genetic machinery that drives regeneration. This approach also supports hormone balance and reduces inflammation, both critical for muscle preservation after 60. Inflammation is one of the hidden enemies of muscle health. It interferes with protein synthesis, disrupts mitochondrial function, and accelerates muscle breakdown. Vitamins D and K2, especially when paired with anti-inflammatory foods like omega-3 rich fish and leafy greens, help calm this silent fire. So the takeaway here is simple, yet powerful. Do not just focus on what supplements to take, focus on how you eat them. Timing, fat content, and pairing determine how much your cells actually receive and use. Before we move on, a quick reminder: if you are enjoying this, press the subscribe button, like, comment. It really supports the channel and helps spread these science-backed tools for cellular health and longevity. One of the most overlooked aspects of nutrient science is timing. We tend to think that what we eat matters most, but when we eat and when we supplement can make the difference between slow progress and real transformation. Every cell in your body, including your muscle cells, operates on a circadian rhythm. This internal clock regulates when your mitochondria produce energy, when your body repairs damaged tissue, and even when your genes turn on or off. After 60, these rhythms can become less synchronized. The good news is that strategic nutrient timing can help reset them. Let us break this down at the cellular level. During the day, your muscles are in a primarily catabolic state. That means they are breaking down energy to fuel movement. At night, the system shifts toward an anabolic state. This is the rebuilding phase. Growth hormone levels rise, tissue repair accelerates, and mitochondria begin their cleanup process, recycling damaged components in a process called mitophagy. This is where vitamins D and K2 play a quiet but powerful role. When taken at the right time, they enhance this nocturnal repair phase, supporting mitochondrial regeneration, calcium balance, and muscle protein synthesis while you sleep. Here is what research shows. Vitamin D's active form, calcitriol, helps regulate over 200 genes tied to circadian rhythm and energy metabolism. It interacts with melatonin, the hormone that signals your body to rest, to fine-tune recovery processes at night. Low vitamin D levels are associated with poor sleep quality, reduced muscle regeneration, and slower recovery from exercise. Vitamin K2 also has timing-specific effects. It improves mitochondrial efficiency during low-energy states, like nighttime fasting, and helps regulate oxidative stress while the body repairs itself. When taken alongside vitamin D in the evening, ideally with your last meal, the combination works synergistically to strengthen muscles during the exact hours when your body is programmed to rebuild them. Let me give you a simple, practical rhythm. If you wake up and get morning sunlight exposure even 10 to 15 minutes, that light cues your circadian clock, boosts natural vitamin D synthesis, and sets your body's timing for energy and alertness. Then, when evening arrives, taking vitamin D3 and K2 together with a nutrient-rich dinner that includes healthy fats can help direct your body toward repair mode. Think of it as bookending your day: sunlight in the morning to energize your system, and fat-soluble vitamins in the evening to restore it. This combination supports not only muscle recovery but also deeper sleep, better mitochondrial turnover, and enhanced hormone balance, all of which are crucial for healthy aging. Another factor to consider is fasting. Many older adults benefit from a 12 to 14-hour overnight fasting window, allowing growth hormone and autophagy to work efficiently. Vitamins D and K2 fit perfectly into this rhythm when taken with your final meal before that fasting period begins. So, in summary, timing your vitamins to align with your circadian biology means working with your body's natural rhythm rather than against it. Daytime is for energy, nighttime is for repair. If you are finding this helpful, remember to press the subscribe button and share your insights in the comments. In the next section, we will bring it all together. We will combine nutrition, exercise, fasting, and hormetic stressors into one cohesive longevity protocol, a framework you can use to rebuild and preserve muscle for decades to come. At this point, we have explored the science behind muscle loss after 60, uncovered how vitamins D and K2 outperform magnesium for true muscle repair, and examined how timing and food pairing can amplify their effects. Now let us integrate it all into a practical framework, a protocol designed to activate muscle regeneration, support mitochondrial health, and keep your body biologically young. Let us begin with nutrition, because everything starts there. Every meal you eat sends a signal to your cells, a signal that says build, maintain, or break down. To promote muscle rebuilding, your meals need to send a consistent anabolic signal, one that provides amino acids, micronutrients, and enough energy for repair. Here is a simple structure that research supports. Each main meal should include a high-quality protein source, about 25 to 30 grams for most people over 60. That might be a palm-sized serving of wild-caught fish, eggs, or grass-fed meat. Add a variety of colorful vegetables for antioxidants and fiber. Include a moderate portion of healthy fats, olive oil, avocado, or nuts to assist in absorbing vitamins D and K2. And do not forget fermented foods like kefir, kimchi, or small portions of cheese to naturally boost K2 and support gut health. Next, movement. Exercise is not just about burning calories. It is a biochemical trigger that tells your body to build new mitochondria and muscle fibers. The most effective combination after 60 is resistance training and low-intensity aerobic movement. Resistance training, even as simple as bodyweight squats, resistance bands, or light dumbbells, activates the mTOR pathway, the same one that vitamin D enhances. When combined with adequate protein and micronutrients, it can reverse anabolic resistance and reignite muscle protein synthesis. Then, low-intensity aerobic movement, walking, cycling, swimming, increases blood flow to the muscles, improving oxygen delivery and nutrient uptake. Doing a 20 to 30-minute walk after dinner can also enhance vitamin D absorption and regulate your circadian rhythm. Now let us add hormetic stressors, the small, beneficial challenges that strengthen your cells. Sauna exposure, cold showers, or alternating between hot and cold can activate heat shock proteins and mitochondrial repair pathways. These brief stressors teach your cells to adapt, rebuild, and resist damage, a principle known as hormesis. Pairing these hormetic practices with proper nutrition magnifies their effects. For example, doing a sauna session after a light resistance workout, followed by a nutrient-rich dinner that includes vitamin D and K2, creates the perfect biological sequence: stress, recovery, and renewal. Sleep is the final piece, and perhaps the most powerful. Deep sleep is when the majority of muscle regeneration occurs. Growth hormone and melatonin rise, inflammation drops, and mitochondria perform their nightly cleanup. Taking vitamins D and K2 with dinner helps synchronize your hormonal rhythm for optimal nighttime recovery. Avoid bright screens an hour before bed, keep your room cool and dark, and aim for 7 to 8 hours of consistent, high-quality rest. Here is what this all looks like in practice. Morning sunlight for vitamin D activation. Midday protein-rich meal to support anabolism. Light movement in the afternoon to boost blood flow. Evening dinner with healthy fats, vitamins D and K2, and fermented foods. Gentle stretching or sauna before bed to encourage deep sleep. This is not a supplement plan. It is a longevity rhythm. A lifestyle that keeps your mitochondria youthful, your hormones balanced, and your muscles strong even into your 80s. If this framework resonates with you, go ahead and press the hype button. Leave a comment with one change you plan to start this week, and subscribe for more deep dives into the science of nutrition and aging. In the final section, we will recap the major insights, reinforce why they matter, and issue a simple, powerful challenge you can act on tonight to begin rebuilding muscle from the inside out. If you have stayed with me through this entire journey, you now understand something that most people never learn, even after decades of trial and error. Muscle loss after 60 is not simply a matter of age.